counting down the mindful moments.
And there we go.
Yep.
Welcome to Conscious Together's going live on YouTube channel recording. We're very happy to be doing this together. Oliver, Lorian, and me are very happy to bring our experience of mindfulness through the banner of Conscious Together to you, our audience. Mindfulness has gathered a lot of publicity and a lot of popularity in the last few years. And where I think Conscious Together brings mindfulness in the form of us professionals is the fact that we are using mindfulness as a tool to make our lives more mindful. So using a tool to use the philosophy of mindfulness to make ourselves more mindful, more at ease, with less stress around us, in better relationships with us and with our families and with the world at large. And I think Conscious Together's basic principles and vision is all about bringing mindfulness to a huge amount of people, to as many people as possible, to reduce stress and anxiety, to improve mental health and overall well-being, and in a way that is accessible and easy to use. So again, welcome everyone to the channel. We should be able to, in a few days' time, be able to give you a schedule of our weekly live sessions starting very soon, and you'll see an announcement on the channel. You will also get access to a lot of recorded and live meditation sessions, as well as tips and bites about mindfulness and how to lead a better life. To begin our session today, I will start to introduce myself. My name is Avanti Bamanhalli. I have been in a corporate job for most of my life, but now, seeing the power of mindfulness, have decided to work through Conscious Together as a coach and a trainer to bring the word of mindfulness to everybody. So this is a little bit about me. I will pass the baton over to Oliver.
Hi, my name is Oliver Zhang. I live in Los Angeles, USA, and to be exact, Irvine, Orange County. Like Avanti, I've been most of my career in corporations, management, sales work. This is probably pretty common. You'll see more the mindfulness coaches coming from this background because there are feel of success, but also their like the burnout is not uncommon. That's probably the reason for many of us get onto this mindfulness path. So me, myself is not different. But over 15, let's say 20 years, it's been my passion. So going through the traditional way of mindfulness training, as well as this modern mindfulness programs to become a mindfulness teacher / coach. That's me.
Thank you, Oliver. Let's now go ahead to Lorian.
Thank you, Avanti. Yeah, so hi, I am Lorian Holiday and I am a mental health coach. I'm based in the UK in a place called Bournemouth, which is on the south coast. I spent about 20 years in corporate financial services sector, So it's an environment that I understand fairly well, and I understand the pressures and the challenges of. And I found myself looking for something a little bit more fulfilling personally. So I left that industry about 5 years ago, and I've been working as a personal development coach and then subsequently a mental health coach, and focusing very strongly on mindfulness, having qualified in mindfulness-based stress reduction. So it's something I'm very passionate about and look forward to sharing with you all over the coming weeks and months in these live broadcasts. I suppose. So that's a little about me. And if you hear a loud barking in the background, it's because I have a very friendly Rottweiler that gets quite excited if people come near the house. So if there is suddenly a disturbance, then we'll be mindful to it. But that's just to give you a heads up as to what it is. There's nothing terrible happening.
I got my Chihuahua also here. If there's a scratch on the door, that's him.
This is the real world, isn't it? And that's one of the things that's so important to me about mindfulness, is it has to work in the real world. So yeah, there'll be creaks and bumps, no doubt, in this production until we get our own private studio, of course, with soundproofing, which will come very soon, no doubt. But until then, we might have to put up with animals and, and traffic and other things going on. But that'll just add to the experience, hopefully.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And for those of us watching, and I know there's friends and well-wishers of us channel of Conscious Together, we've got questions from you, but please go ahead and put your questions in the comments. If you're on Zoom with us, or if you come through YouTube, please continue to put in your questions. We will follow a series of mini discussions or talks about mindfulness, followed with sitting practice, which will be led first by Lorien, then by Oliver, and finally by me. So in the interim, if you have questions, if you're wondering about something, bring that out. And the last 15 minutes, I think we're hoping to take some questions and sort of interact. Also to let you know, if you'd like to receive a mindful awareness scale, which is a scientifically designed tool to let you find out how mindful you are, write us a note in the chat, or write us to our email address. It's connect@conscious-together.com.
And I've linked that for our viewers in the YouTube chat, so you can find that right there.
That is super helpful, Lorien. You're the best. Thank you. Alrighty, so let's begin, and then I hand the stage over to Lorien now.
Thank you, Avanti. Okay, guys. So I suppose before we begin with this simple sitting practice, it's just some thoughts from me about what mindfulness is and the benefit that it can bring us. And that's something that we're all going to share with you through this broadcast and through future broadcasts. And hopefully you'll enjoy the subtle variations in our approaches and in our thoughts, because mindfulness is very difficult to define succinctly. And I remember from my courses and from the courses in MBCT that there's always at least 10 different definitions from a variety of experienced mindful practitioners. So there's not really one concise definition for mindfulness. There's very much an individual flavor to it. But simply put, it's being present in the moment. And that affords us the opportunity to be more discerning in terms of our ability to respond to the circumstances of life. There are some very stoic undertones to mindfulness, depending on how much stoicism you have been studying or aware of in your own personal life or your life with others. But it's not trying to resist the challenges in life that we can't resist, and wasting our mental energy and efforts on those lost causes, so to speak, but instead enabling us to pause, take a moment, reflect, And then, as I say, respond more productively and do things that we can do to make the experience a little bit better if possible for ourselves, and most importantly, those we care about. So I appreciate that got a little bit wordy, but in essence, to summarize, being present in the moment so that you can recognize the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are threatening to overwhelm you. And by taking a little step back, you can buy yourself some mental breathing space. And that can, as I say, afford you the opportunity to respond more constructively, more discerningly, giving a response that you might be a little bit more comfortable with, maybe a little bit more productive. I hesitate to use the word proud of for the connotations of pride, but something that you could look back on and think that perhaps you made a good decision in a difficult circumstance. So there are some thoughts there, and I know my colleagues are going to bring you their thoughts in turn when I finish our initial sitting practice. So if you'd like to join us for this sitting practice, you're very welcome to, but there is no pressure. You don't have to do this meditation. It will hopefully be very gentle and will hopefully just afford you the opportunity to check in with the moment now. But if at any time you feel it isn't right for you, feel free to just open your eyes, look around the room a bit, recenter yourself, and yeah, you've got to look after you and do what's right for you. And that's always the most important thing. But hopefully you'll enjoy this practice with us. So just take a moment to position yourself sitting or lying down if you prefer. And again, respond to the needs of your body. So if you've got particular challenges physically with your posture, or you maybe have back pain, shoulder pain, or what have you, then find a position that works for you. There's no position that you have to be in, okay? We're not going to put you in any yoga positions for today's broadcast. Look out for that in the future. So just sit comfortably. But if you are in a chair, just see if you can sit a little bit upright and see if it's possible to move your back a little bit away from the rest of the chair. So you're supporting yourself. And you might do that by just bringing the tummy in a little bit, just to create a little bit of support for your lower back. If possible, have your feet resting flat on the floor, and it doesn't matter if you've got shoes on or no shoes on. And your hands, again, rest comfortably, perhaps on your lap, perhaps with your palms face up on your knees. Face up, he says in the camera, so you can see, or alternatively face down. It doesn't matter. Don't get too worked up about it. Just find a comfortable position, preferably upright, with a neutral spine. You can have your eyes open or closed as you prefer. I'll invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, but there's no pressure to whatsoever. Okay. So just gathering yourself and closing the eyes gently if you're comfortable to. If your eyes are open, then just let them softly focus in the middle distance. So you're not really paying attention to anything in particular. Gazing into the air between you and the screen in front of you, or you and the wall, or you and the window. Looking at that space with a soft gaze. And just take a few slow breaths just to settle the body. Check the posture to make sure that it feels okay. Perhaps just take a moment if you need to reposition a shoulder or a foot. Just settling into this position. And just finding a comfortable rhythm to your breath. You don't need to change the breath in any way. We don't need to slow it down. We don't need to breathe more deeply. Just let it do what it needs to do. And just take a moment to recognize what's going on for you right now. A key part of mindfulness is simply awareness. It's not achieving a specific state. It's not being calm. It's not being relaxed. It's being present with whatever you find in the moment. So we'll just gently take some stock of that, of our present moment. So just check in with the mind. Where are your thoughts right now? Perhaps the mind's busy. Perhaps you're at the start of your day, perhaps the middle, or perhaps even the end. Wherever you are, just seeing what the nature of your thoughts are. And remember, there's no need to have specific thoughts. We don't control our next thought. And we're not defined by our next thought. So perhaps you're thinking of the day past or the day to come, a catalogue of things that you have to get done. Simply see what's true for you. And perhaps the mind is relatively still at the moment. Perhaps the thoughts are soft and quiet and not too intrusive. And if that's the case, just rest in that space. But if the mind is busy, just see if you can gently turn towards that experience. See if you can let go of the need to judge it, to criticize it, to silence the mind, or to be thinking calm, fluffy thoughts. And just check in with the breath again now, as we let go of our review of thoughts. And again, no need to change the breath, no need to slow it down, just check in with the rhythm that you find. And perhaps it is a little slower, and perhaps not. And now check in with any emotional tone or quality to the moment that you're in. Perhaps there's some tension, stress, nervousness, or perhaps excitement, or even a sense of ease and rest. And again, it doesn't matter what emotion you notice. You don't need to be calm. You don't need to relax. Simply taking stock of what we find. And coming back once more to the breath. So letting go of our study of the emotion of the moment. Coming back to the breath. Checking the rhythm, the pace. Simply noticing. And then as you gently breathe out, we'll check in with the physical body itself. What's the quality of the experience in the body in this moment? Is the body comfortable and relaxed? Or perhaps there are places of tension, discomfort, perhaps even pain. Again, we're just seeing what's true for us in this moment. Just gently scan the body and your experience of it from the top of the head to the tips of the toes, the fingertips, and your seat sat down. What is there to notice? And notice any judgment, any criticism, any wishing that it would be a way other than you find it. And see if it's possible to just let go of that pressure and gently turn towards the experience of the body as you find it. So gently come back to the experience of the breath. Once more, just checking in with how you find it in this moment. And having taken note of the condition of our thoughts, any emotional quality, and the experience of the body itself, the invitation now is to focus on the sensation and the experience in the feet as they rest on the floor. Pay close and curious attention to the raw felt sensations and experience of your feet as they rest. A sense of awareness of the shape of the foot, the toes, the pressure as they rest on the surface that they're on. Awareness of the temperature. And perhaps the tingling sensation that actually presents itself. See how close attention you can pay to this actual felt experience. See if you can let go of the narrator describing this experience back to you. And instead, just be present with what you find. How do they actually feel? And if it feels okay to, just gently breathe with this space. So you're sharing your attention, your awareness, and the breath. And check in with the quality of the mind and the emotional tone and how the body feels with your awareness resting here. Thank you. So just take a moment to gently bring yourself back, comfortably open your eyes if they've been closed, and just gently moving your head, rolling your shoulders if you need to. Have a drink of water if you need to. And if you wish to, just gently reflect back on that practice and how it felt for you. And if you've got any questions on it, please add it to the chat. And but otherwise, thank you very much. And I'll hand back to Avanti.
Thank you, Lorian. I think I feel really grounded now already. Thank you.
Too.
We are ready now to hear another way of learning mindfulness from Oliver.
Mr. Oliver, yeah. I don't see who is there on the screen, but because I see Lorraine and Avanti, want to ask, have you watched the U.S. opera Friends?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then there is apparently one of the characters, Joey, funny guy, Joey Tribbiani. Actually, all of a sudden, while you were talking, it came up to me this example. Joey was an actor, but as an actor in front of the camera and the voice, where sometimes you forget your lines. One of the experienced, I think his coach or colleagues told him there's a trick. It's called smelling fart, literally, right? When you're talking, you forgot, almost like somebody farted, and then in most cases you could remember the lines. And to me, I think that is mindfulness, because that gives you some space, in between all these connected bubbles. And anyways, I think there are different ways to look at it. As Lorraine mentioned, there are different, very, I should say, scientific definitions on what is mindfulness. Many of them, I think there's a keyword called awareness. I like that. And sometimes the awareness is even more straightforward, more understandable to me than the mindfulness self. One of the definitions says, I think, keep a moment to moment awareness to our thoughts, body, just like the meditation led, just like the Lorraine, with a gentle and nurture lens, right? This is it. As a practitioner, I like to also to share like what mindfulness more to me. Magic wand, right? We watch Harry Potter, kids and adults alike. They like the show, and also I think everyone likes to have a magic wand or multiple. But if we are honest enough to ourselves, we probably will admit that there's no magic wand, no such thing like magic wand in real life. However, if we look into our mind, in our deep mind, we definitely believe there is a magic wand, right? Or as one example, if something already happened, we tend to regret, ruminate on it. Just like for myself, last week I actually had a minor accident, but minor enough to cost a couple of $1,000s, I think. But anyways, if without mindfulness, you probably think, hey, why should I even drive on this road, right? Why couldn't I be more focused, right? What if the other driver be just more, just respond a little bit quicker, so I'd hit a brake, so she wouldn't have just hit me, right? All those thoughts, but nonstop, maybe from a couple of hours to days or even longer. And there are more than that. As if there is a magic wand. If you just wave, we can just change the things that's already happened. Right? This is And of course, honest to me, I think because of the training and practice of mindfulness, it gave me, the things still pop up, right? The things still pop up. I could talk to my daughter, who also sat in the car. If it were some, other type of driver, they could be just respond quickly. However, those were all short thoughts, conversation. I think short enough doesn't cause too much trouble to rest part of the life, right? This could still come up. That's how our mind, how our brain works. Doesn't matter. But again, there's a lot less if without mindful training, rumination and regret on the things happened. Same thing for the future, right? We plan for the future. Planning for the future is not wrong at all. We should, right? But the thing is, when we do thing A, we tend to plan for thing B, C, D, all the way to X, Y, Z, and beyond, right? That's not good, because when you're doing A, of course, the best thing, the most productive, the thing that the way that make most sense is to focus on A. So you finish A, and then maybe you can jump on B. That's fine, and then focus on B. The thing is, when we are doing A, we think a lot of B, C, D, and a lot more. So that is a magic wand to me too, right? You just want to use a magic wand and finish everything, alpha to omega all at once. But things doesn't happen that way. But unfortunately, lots of us, if not all of us, just do it that way, thinking we have a magic wand. One other way to look at it is, if you jump on mindful training already, it could sometimes you're probably not patient enough, right? On this sense, mindfulness is a magic wand, right? Because to me, I think mindfulness can solve lots of issues, not the way that we expect, right? Like, change the world. However, if we're able to change, just, work on our mind, change that by watching, keeping that awareness, that's already playing a role of magic wand, right? And also, I'd say to me, mindfulness training is like an elevator too. Maybe hope elevator is a good example, because it's moving, it's getting you up there or down there, right? But you don't really feel it, right? If the elevator is good enough, you don't feel it. And of course, in the mindfulness training path, you probably sometimes don't have the patience. Why things are not happening, right? It's actually happening, but again, you don't feel it. Right? I just want to use elevator as an example to maybe the earth itself, right? We work on it. The earth support us. The earth actually turn so that it gives us the sunrise and daytime, nighttime, all those that we need. But we don't really, lots of time we probably don't even feel the exist of the earth, although it's there, right? Maybe air too is an example. Mindfulness is also like this. It is there innately with us. I guess the training is just to help us to find it. Okay, that's my version of what is mindfulness. I'll lead a short breath, observe meditation, right? Okay. I actually have a bow here. Maybe I can use that to make it more ritual. Okay, let's get relaxed. Either sit, again, maybe lying down, sit on a chair, or maybe sit on a cushion, a mat. Right, relax as much as we can. If we're sitting on a chair or cushion, let's just try to sit straight. Sometimes mindfulness coaches will say that sit with dignity. See how you understand that. I sometimes use the trick, as if there's a wire, just pulling us up a little bit at the middle of the head so that we can keep straight. In the meantime, be relaxed. Relax your shoulder, arms. You can rest your hands on the lap, on the knees. Okay, let's just start by watching our breath. You can choose to have different anchor. Some may want to watch the tip of the nostril. Just keep an awareness on the in and out of the breath. It helps if you breathe deeper and longer. You can even watch the temperature difference between the in and out breath. Some may choose just observe the rise and fall of the belly. If you've been practicing mindfulness already, you may know you get good benefit from just watching the breath. If you're new and curious about it, there are research papers that shows even just by as simple as watching your breath, it could change from the neuroscience point of view, like the gray matters relative part of the brain, as an example. So not only mentally benefit you, but it could actually change the structure of the brain. If your mind wanders, just notice it and then gently bring it back to the breath. actually this wandering and then bringing back is actually the main part of mindfulness training. Okay, so when you hear the bowl again, then just come to an end of this short breath observing practice. You can open your eyes if they're closed and just relax a little bit, or maybe a little stretch.
Stretch is always good.
So, back to you, Avanti.
Lorian, it's so good to meditate together. I think the beauty of mindfulness is enhanced when we practice together. So thank you very much for leading this practice, Oliver, and to our audience and to those who are with us. Please write us a comment. Let us know if you loved it or not. We certainly do hope you did. But I think I want to pick the aspect of mindfulness that really made mindfulness very useful to me in my practice. I think the aspect of self-care, where we take the time to sit down with ourselves every single day. And for me, sometimes I try to do it twice in a day, once in the morning and once at night, is a way to show myself the compassion that I usually carry for everyone else around me. A lot of times we become triggered, we become emotionally upset, we become exhausted, all because we're trying to do and be what everyone around us wants us to be for them. And mindfulness practice to me allows me to be myself to me. It is that space, the silence that I give myself to allow everything that is inside me to show up. Emotions and feelings of exhaustion, happiness, disappointment, sadness, anger. I carry all of them with me, like all of us do. And simply being able to view it in my own gallery of pictures and thoughts gives myself the attention that I want from others sometimes. For all of us, or any of us who want to be seen by others, let you in on a secret that if you can watch yourself and be yourself, then you will not require anyone else to look at you. So give yourself this practice. It could be 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night. But if you're like anything like Lorian, Oliver, or me, you will enjoy sitting longer. The idea is to just allow that time for yourself to show up the way you want to be, the way you are. And this final practice for the evening, before we go into some questions, is more around compassion, is more around gratitude. And so if we bring ourselves together to sit in a dignified position, in the way the body wants to show up most in the current moment, Maybe with a deep breath, with a sigh. Could be with your eyes closed, or even just gazing them open. Tuck your chin in, relax your shoulders. Your palms facing up, left on your legs or knees if you're sitting down, or on the floor if you're lying down. Allow the emotion that is showing up right now to wash over you. Begin at the top of your head and simply scan down through your body, beginning with the scalp, down to the forehead. Bring your attention now to the cheekbones, to your jaw, down to your shoulders, to your chest, acknowledging what that feels like right now. To your diaphragm, your abdomen, the pelvis, noticing any tension in your hip region or your thighs, your knees, down to your calves, and to your ankles and the sole of your feet, to your toes. And now as you bring your attention back to your abdomen, observe your breath, creating that movement in the abdomen right now. As you breathe in and breathe out. What thoughts show up in this moment? Rather than getting involved in them, simply watch them go by. And keep bringing your mind back to your breathing. And simply become grateful for the time that you're spending with yourself today, with us, for showing up for yourself, for being equally kind to yourself as you are to everyone else around you. And allow that space for the next 1 minute to see what shows up in your mind's eye, in your body. as we bring this meditation to completion, hold a well-wishing thought for your family, for those around you, for those in your community, or in your city, or the world at large. We need the healing that we all want to do for ourselves. With that, you can open your eyes when you're ready, bringing ourselves back to the current moment and back to our questions or comments if you have any. Alison, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you. We have a couple questions and about 10 minutes left before we end our podcast and our go live video. Should we, Lauren, can I throw the ball to you, please?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've had a couple through the connectitconscioustogether.com link, so that's fantastic. So we've got a question from Johanna from Stockholm, and she's saying, I've tried mindfulness a few times, but I find it very challenging. I find myself becoming more frustrated rather than relaxed. What am I doing wrong? So she's tried mindfulness a few times, finds it challenging, and actually finds herself becoming more frustrated from the practice rather than relaxed. So Avanti, Oliver, do either of you want to field that question?
Yeah, I can.
Please.
I think I want to compare with physical exercise. Of course, if we need strength, we need the exercise. However, when you start the first couple of weeks, maybe running, maybe weightlifting, you find your muscle sore, tired and all those. In most cases, that's pretty normal. Of course, I think don't overwhelm yourself, but don't stop either. Continue, and in most cases, you'll get through it. That's how I feel.
Thanks, Oliver. Johanna, I hope that helps. From my perspective as well, if I can add just a personal reflection on that my journey to mindfulness wasn't smooth by any stretch. I tried and abandoned mindfulness, I think 3 times before I finally settled it. And I found myself asking a mindful group, and I said, I find it frustrating. And I found I was getting more angry from doing mindfulness, believe it or not. And I found a community of mindfulness people online, and apart from a few peculiar comments that you always get in these groups, they were very supportive. And it's a very ordinary part of the process. And I think, again, for me, it's about learning to sit with emotions that you're not normally comfortable sitting with, and that we ignore and maybe suppress or even repress. So there can often be this sort of sifting through the emotions, and that can be quite uncomfortable. So yeah, that's just a little bit of perspective from my own personal journey, if that's any help either.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lauren. Yes.
We've got another question from I might be pronouncing this badly, so forgive me. Prissy from Mumbai is asking, how long should we be meditating each day? That's a doozy of a question. How long should we be meditating each day? Avanti, do you want to risk that one?
And I think it is a very subjective answer. I think The more you can sit down with your emotions, the better for us. Like we said, usually we start off with a 5 or 8 or 10-minute meditation because we want it to be relatively short, because we understand that the mind is really agile, especially on busy days when we have a lot of stress. It's difficult to sit with the mind because the mind is like a jumping child or a monkey, unable to sit still. But I think if we train ourselves to sit irrespective of what's showing up for us, that duration could become more stretched and you could go on for a little bit longer. So usually experienced meditators could go on to doing an hour in the morning, an hour at night. So 2 hours a day easily. But again, it takes a lot of practice and it takes time. I think that is the paradox of mindfulness, that if you stick with it long enough, it will give you a lot more return. It's like a long-term investment. You cannot draw out your funds soon enough. You have to let them steep. You have to let them in. And just continue with the practice as long as you can. Just keep going back to it no matter what happens. And you'll see that you'll be able to sit longer. I hope that helps. Please, guys, if you...
Yeah, I have something also. I want to scare everyone a little bit.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
I just read an article from I saw a Forbes interview with Elizabeth Prather. She has his, again, like us, she's been in the corporate, but now a mindfulness leadership consultant. She somehow was fortunate enough to have done those traditional 3-year, 3-month, 3 days retreat. So it can be as long as that, but I've met people who did the retreat for 20 years straight. Okay, if that's not scary enough, just use my own example. Sometimes it was just to sit straight like 4 hours, but please don't tell my boss. Okay, hey, funny and stories enough, but there are papers. I've read papers that did research on 10 minutes a day, or maybe I forgot, 5 minutes a day for like 2 weeks. Those who really have stressful work, 3 switches, 3 shifts, those who work on that was pick up on purpose, those group of people. And that showed very good, very noticeable, significant changes in, both watching their different, neuroscience indexes, as well as a more subjective survey telling that you have this, calm down, less negative emotions. Very good result, even like that. But the most important thing, I think, is it's habit, right? It's lifelong. It could be a lifelong practice. But of course, if things are good, you receive benefit, good feedback, lifelong is good, right? The longer, the better. So in short, it could be long ones, right? If you have the time, it could be short ones. But I guess most important thing is just try make it in a continuous manner, right? Don't stop. Try do it every day. If you don't have time, skip a couple of days, but bring it back, make it continue. That's the most important thing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all. And to say the least, I think we have a couple of questions, but we are really at the end of the hour. And I respect the time that Oliver, Lorien, and all of you bring with you. So we're going to end our evening now, or the night, or the morning.
Morning here.
the morning, exactly, too. So for all of us who are ready to get to work, please send in your questions to connect@conscious-together.com, and we'll make sure to get back to you with each of the questions. But also join us starting next week with our going live sessions, where we will also announce and publish that schedule on the website. So make sure you log in. Please also share. How do you say this, Lorian?
like, subscribe, and share, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Is the jargon. Yeah. Like, subscribe, and share.
It's culture. Like what?
Subscribe.
Subscribe and share. Yeah, there we go.
So subscribe to the
Yes,
channel, hit your notification bell, because the algorithm doesn't necessarily, as we're a new channel, so the algorithm probably won't promote us so quickly to you. So you might not see it pop up in your feed unless you are intentionally looking for us. So you can help that by liking it. You can help by commenting. That will help promote it to your feed. Obviously, if you subscribe, it will be there. And there's also a notification bell that you can click as well if you wish to, so that it will ping you when we go live or when our next show is up, so that you're guaranteed not to miss it. So those are the tools that YouTube provides us to connect.
Thank you so much, Lorian. Thank you, everyone. And make sure you spread the word if you like our work, and join the revolution. Let's become mindful together. Have a lovely evening, everybody. And thank you for joining us tonight.